Yes, I'm Logan Karcher with Burnt Hill Cattle Company. We was established in 2019. We raise beef, pork, lamb, and chicken. All of them are to help improve our soil and our forage diversity, along with selling quality and clean meats retail and wholesale. Once we decided we was going to start doing multi-species more heavily and starting our meat sales is when we established the cattle company in 2019. Grazing multi-species is there's a lot of pros and cons to it for sure. The pros are we can better utilize all of our forages because each species grazes differently. They eat different forages. So anywhere from weeds or forbs to grasses and legumes, everything is ate differently at different heights. So that is definitely a pro. A con is time management. Managing your grazing moves. You're talking about moving 4 different species versus just one in a monoculture type system or monospecies. So time management is definitely tough, and trying to keep what we like to try to do as a leader follower grazing management to where our beef, they require more dry matter per day, where our sheep require quite less than cows. So we try to let our cows graze first, and then our sheep follow them, and then our pigs follow them, and our chickens. Granted, we don't do that perfectly all the time because right now our cows and our sheep are running together, so that's a different deal. So that's kind of what we try to follow in a way. And then, you know, keeping in that situation, keeping our forages to where they're not getting too grazed by the time our chickens go through there. So depending on the area of the farm is what we're using to graze that area. So like we're in timber now, we're working on silvo pasture. So we had the lamb or the sheep run through here, and they kind of grazed it down, got some of them underbrush, and then we're utilizing our pigs as tillers or a natural implement to disturb the soil, kind of get those microbes working, turning the soil over, knocking the underbrush down, some of the woody species. And then after the pigs go through, we'll actually broadcast a summer annual seed. It'll be grazable in about 45 days, and then we'll take our grass-finished lambs and graze them on that to help them get that finish on them that we like. And then, like I said, the cows, we mostly keep the cows through most of our fescue clover type pastures on that. And then our chickens, they get the last straw, I guess, if you will, which is fine. They're our cleanup crew. That's what they're intended to do, to break down those manure pats, to kind of rake everything clean and get that last bit of grass that we have to give them. So, you know, having multi-species grazing around, like I say, we're trying to make the most money per acre instead of per animal or per year or per week, per whatever. So we're looking at everything at a acre standpoint. So having multiple species grazing 1 acre, we're quadrupling our profit, I guess, because, you know, there's not just a cow grazing our whole farm. And then, you know, that also in turn leads to better using our forages. So everything our ground and our pastures are giving us, we are reaping the benefits from that. Health concerns really kind of disappear somewhat once you start grazing regenerative or adaptive. The one main thing, especially with sheep and cattle, you have parasite issues. Sheep are the worst. Sheep and goats, you know, they can get a parasite just for being alive. So all of a sudden, you know, you start moving them, not letting them graze below 4 or so inches. They're not picking up those parasites from the soil or that lower leaf canopy. So that's a huge deal. Not only on cost, on time, we're not having to run anything through the corrals to doctor or anything like that. Costs of saving on inputs of buying dewormer, time, we don't have to take time to do it. So that's the main focus. All right, my top priorities, thinking about how to manage each species, how to manage my pasture. First, I look at where my next paddock is going to be built. What is the forage diversity there? What are we looking like? Do we need our cows and our sheep together, or is there a lot of good quality grass that the cows can utilize better than the sheep, or vice versa? Maybe we're in some silvopasture or timber ground where cows may not utilize it as much as the sheep will. So splitting those herd and flocks up is a consideration. What am I wanting to do with that particular ground? Do I need to mob graze with a high stock density to get more organic matter laid down, or do I need to lightly graze it maybe in the springtime when the forage is growing quickly and wanting to do a bunch of fast moves? So a lot of paddock sizes, multi-species grazing within those paddocks, and a stock density.